I can't give you a specific prediction for a specific time because what I expect is Bitcoin will go up forever with volatility, right? It's not going to go perfect straight line. It's going to surge forward, consolidate, surge forward, consolidate. But, as I've said, the way I look at it is I think it flips gold and then it replaces real estate. And eventually there's no reason why it can't become a multi-$100 trillion asset. So I expect it'll go up by a factor of 100 to 200 or more. And I think I think it's just going to progressively advance this decade. And at some point, logically, every year the volatility decreases. Maybe the growth rate comes back a bit. You go from 300% to 200% to 150% to 100% to 75% to 60% to 40%. The volatility will come in as the networks get more mature and the exchanges get more mature and the crypto assets get more mature and institutional investors come in. So it's just all natural, mature seasoning for a good reason. And the use case, Bitcoin's going to appreciate in value because of A, inflation, B, adoption, C, utility, and D, productivity. And by that, I mean, in your frame of reference, right? If you're in Argentina and the inflation rate's 80%, Bitcoin's going up in pesos at more than 80% a year just because of that, right? So hyperinflation will hyper drive the price. Low inflation drives the price lower. So it goes up because of that frame of reference and inflation. But if it gets built into every iPhone and Android phone and 8 billion people can move at the speed of light 100 times a day, and if it gets built into Twitter and Facebook and Square, and YouTube and Tinder and WhatsApp and Telegram, right? The utility goes up, the price is going up, right? And if 100 billionaires all buy $1 billion each, okay, forget about the other two things. It's still going up, right? I mean, adoption, right? When Apple decides to buy $50 billion of Bitcoin, it's going up regardless of technology or inflation. It's just going up. And now when everybody's got it, when 8 billion people on the planet have half of their money invested in this asset, well, then classic Austrian economics theory says it'll go up with the productivity growth of the economy, right? Like if the human race generates 3% more goods and services every year, the value of the money will go up by at least 3%, right? So it's an appreciating asset that will be progressively less volatile, progressively slower growth, but it'll be high growth an entire decade, right? Ask me at the end of 2030, what's my forecast, but we're looking at an exciting decade, and you just got to strap in and be ready for the volatility. If you don't have a 4-year time horizon, you probably shouldn't buy it. And I think, you should be thinking, I'm buying this to hold, minimally a decade, but why would you just hold it forever? Give it to your grandkids. The only reason people have to sell anything is the asset's too expensive to maintain, like a boat. Cost you 10% of your purchase price. It's too expensive. Or they flee the country and they can't take it with them. Or someone impaired the asset. I bought a company and the CEO went crazy and he screwed it up, it's destroyed. But if what you're buying is 1 unit of energy, 1/21 millionth of energy on a network with no CEO and no jurisdiction, well, then why would that ever be impaired, right? As long as people need sound money and they need Bitcoin, 500 years from now, it should still be 1/21 millionth of all the energy on the network. So why would you ever sell it? You got to buy something better, right? You're going to sell it if you don't have a bank. If you don't have a good banker and you can't borrow against it, you'll have to sell it. And you'll sell it if you thought there was something better. But if you don't, and even if you found something better, arguably a smart person, if you had 10 city blocks in New York City worth $25 billion and you believed in Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin is better. But you might just take a loan against the 25 city blocks of New York City and keep New York City and keep Bitcoin, right? So you may still never sell it, even when you buy something better.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
If you want to get rich and stay rich, you kind of have to own high quality property forever. The royal family in England, they own Chelsea, right? They own London. They still own it. Hundreds of years later, they're not selling it ever, right? Just keep it. Yeah. What I would say to anybody is the way to think about business and life in general is this way. You have a P&L and you have a balance sheet. Your P&L is your occupation. It's your vocation. It's what you do. How do you add value in this world? Is it podcasting? Are you a dentist? Are you a basketball player? Right? What is your job? You should be competitive in that job. What we do on our P&L is we sell enterprise software to thousands of companies, and we compete against other business intelligence software companies. Okay, in that job, it doesn't matter what you are, dentist, doctor, driver, professional marketer. You have to master the tools, the techniques of your profession. You have to focus laser-like on that. Don't make the mistake of thinking because you like Bitcoin, you should stop doing your job as a dentist or a doctor, right? If you're a dentist and you're good, you should be the best dentist you should be. You should grow your practice. You should hire assistants. You should generate as much money as possible. Then on your balance sheet, you should take your cash flows and you should convert them to Bitcoin. That way, you know that your life savings will not be debased because your treasury will accrete. Now, if you want to go harder, like if you want to go faster, if you can mortgage your house, if you have $1 million a year practice and someone will loan you $3 million, you borrow $3 million against your dental practice, and then you buy Bitcoin with it. And what you've done is you've accelerated your cash flows for the next decade. Like maybe you're making $200,000 a year for the next 10 years. So you borrow $1 million against that and you take the million and you buy Bitcoin. Now you've actually increased the size of your treasury by a factor of 10, right? You could take that to another extreme. You could sell equity in your company or in yourself. If you sell equity at the right price, then you can invest that. But so on the balance sheet, you've got financing things you can do. Sweep cash flows, sell equity, sell debt, and then buy an asset that's going up in value. On the P&L side, do whatever you can do. It might be that you can tie your business into digital economy and digital assets and Bitcoin and crypto. Like if you're a podcaster, you can do podcasts related to education of that. If you're a bank, you could be a Bitcoin bank. If you're a mobile app company or communications company, you could build Lightning into your communications, right? So maybe you can improve your product or your service using digital assets and crypto technology and Bitcoin. Maybe you can't, right? Maybe you're a farmer and, you raise cattle. Okay. Don't like quit your farming and become a Bitcoin miner because you love Bitcoin, because you're competing against 1,000 other Bitcoin miners. Make sure that you've got critical assets in whatever business you're going to compete against, because they're different things, right? Run your P&L efficiently and do the best you can and grow it with the best ideas you have, and then manage your balance sheet prudently. And then you'll probably get a good result. Don't borrow money at 20x leverage and get forced liquidated on Saturday night. That's not smart, right? That's stupid leverage, right? And don't convert your successful business into going and competition with Square Cash App because you think it's cool, because you're probably not going to beat someone else with more assets. But if you've got some cool entrepreneurial thing and you can tie it into the crypto economy, then more power to you. Have at it.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.